Hi, everyone. Welcome to Monday's Muse. Sorry, I was having some technical issues, but you are in for a treat. Today's co-host is Shanell Labelle. We are going to talk all about alternative medicine, Chinese medicine, all those things. She is absolutely awesome. I actually found her through Fabletics. She is one of the Fabletics instructors, and she was gracious enough to be my co-host today. So we will wait a second for her to join. But just before we start, I always like to say that my guests and I are not doctors. So we are not giving any type of medical advice. This is all from everything that we're sharing is from our own personal experience, from our own knowledge, and the like. So please take our advice at your own risk, but always consult with your doctor before putting any changes into practice. So just to kind of give you a little bit of background on Shanell, she is a content creator who started in foundational basics of alternative medicine just for fun as an easier way, but she earned her bachelor's in wellness and alternative medicine, and she has a passion for educating others on those topics. Hey, Shanell, thank you so much.
Hey, Victoria, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, I'm so excited. Okay, I wanted to say, for some reason, you're showing up sideways on the screen.
Let's remedy this.
Yes,
Let me work with my tripod.
Okay, perfect. I was
Let's
kind of just giving your background.
Oh, awesome.
Studies, and she's also a fitness model and an instructor, certified yoga instructor. 200-hour RYT, core power yoga, she does vinyasa, Bikram, yin, restorative, yoga sculpt, leads some HIIT classes. She's awesome. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I gave a disclaimer, medical disclaimer, just for, just because we need it. But yes, we are going to be getting into some really, really good topics. So first, Shanell, for those that don't know you, can you tell our viewers more about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Victoria, for that amazing intro. I'll just add on to it. I'll try not to repeat anything that I think you said. I have my bachelor's in wellness and alternative medicine. I am a certified yoga instructor, fitness model. My most recent work is on the Fabletics app, which is how we met. You took my class and contacted me here on Instagram, which is so awesome that brought us together. So I'm so happy for our paths to be crossing. Let's see here. And I'm now creating wellness content on my social media, educating others about the efficacy, the safety, and the potential of natural medicine, which is what we're talking about today.
Awesome. Yes. So let's get right into it. What is alternative medicine? If people don't know, what is that?
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of confusion about this term, but alternative medicine is a catch-all phrase for anything that is not Western medicine. So Western medicine is what we know here in the States, especially in the Western hemisphere of the planet. It revolves around pharmaceuticals, surgery, chemotherapy and radiation, and fighting infectious diseases using vaccines and other forms of medication. So anything essentially that's outside of that realm is alternative medicine. And within that, we have smaller categories such as Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, yoga, Reiki healing, anything that you can think of that would be a healing modality would fall under that.
Oh, great to know. Okay, so I mentioned that you studied alternative medicine and wellness. Why did you choose that? What was, what sparked that interest?
Great question. So I was originally going to school and college for Western medicine. I was studying and taking my courses, and at the same time, during my prereqs, I started becoming very ill with hyperthyroidism. And so I started seeking out healing options, and I really feel like it happened for a reason. Alternative medicine came out of nowhere and had never really been an active part of my life, and came out of nowhere and really guided me through my healing process and was a major factor in me finding a better quality of life. My Western medicine MD was able to offer me pharmaceuticals, but my acupuncturist and my naturopathic doctor were able to offer me a lifestyle that I could live and practice for the rest of my life that would allow my body to heal itself and heal a bunch of other ailments that I might have experienced in the future or that I was already experiencing before then. So rather than using a pharmaceutical to do a blanket statement and kind of band-aid the issue, maybe even let the issue grow under the surface, I was able to heal it with food and diet and sleep and really grow from there. So I changed majors, got my bachelor's in alternative medicine, and have not stopped since.
That's awesome. It's so funny because we were kind of geeking out, as I like to say, like in our DMs about these various topics. And it's funny. I too started out pre-med. I started
Wow.
out biology pre-med. I changed majors. I went the complete opposite route, though. I ended up studying marketing. But
You really switched it up.
right, you can always use marketing and business, those skills and everything that we're doing. But yeah, I find myself back in studying those things too. So that is so cool. That's cool that
Amazing.
you did that. So
What inspired you to make that change?
I think I've always kind of been into like wellness and like fitness and things, but I actually have an event planning company. So I was doing events, and I still have a few more weddings that I'm going to be doing this year. But I love the sustainable aspect of wellness and helping people, not just for that one day, but learning tools that they can then use for the rest of their life and that they can actually use to impact their families. So I think that that is one of the main things. And then just serving underserved populations and in my city and just globally, ultimately, is what I want to do, is help people that don't have as much accessibility to see different doctors, especially naturopathic doctors, because people think that that's, a lot of people don't even know that exists. I've been talking to more people and they're like, what? I know you could study that. But there's a need for that, especially in my town. There's like food deserts and all of that. So I really want to be able to help and show people that, you know, food is available and it can heal us, you know, something as simple as that. We don't need medicines that a lot of times don't get to the root cause. So I totally agree with everything you said.
Victoria, that's
Cool.
beautiful. We need more people like you in the world. So I'm
Oh,
so happy you're following your passion
well,
and
thank
guiding
you.
others and giving them opportunities to better the
Yes.
quality of their daily life.
Yes. Okay. So also, and thank you. To kind of go back a little bit, you said you had hyperthyroidism.
Hypothyroidism, yeah, but
Okay.
there is hyper as
Yeah.
well that exists. I don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where did your wellness and fitness journey start then? Did you have that initially and were healed from it and then got more into it, or how did that start?
I was taking my courses in Western medicine while healing, using alternative modalities to get out of hyperthyroidism.
Okay.
A lot of lifestyle habits, diet changes, which is why I went vegan originally. Now I do it for animal rights, but that was a major factor. And while seeing this progress in myself, I noticed that I was leaning more in alternative medicine than Western to find health. And so that's when I really made the major change, going, wow, if I could feel this good and if I could have this impact on my life, I want to help other people find the potential and do that myself. So I think it really happened for me and not to me, which many things in life, sometimes they can seem really hard, but I think they happen for a reason. They guide us.
Yes, yes. Okay, so you mentioned being a vegan, and obviously I saw that on your profile. So I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you mentioned. Tell me about that. Why did you choose to become a vegan?
So originally with my hypothyroidism, I needed to cut meat, dairy, and gluten. So I'm also gluten free. Cut a lot of things out of my diet that were causing those health issues. And so I pulled them out and my health skyrocketed. I mean, it was within about 6 weeks, my entire daily life was better. And so I originally did it for health issues, but then I became a yoga instructor at the same time that I changed my major to alternative medicine through Core Power Yoga. I teach all the formats that they offer. And a big part of yoga is something called the yamas and niyamas, which are these 10 lifestyle principles that you can live on a daily life or on a daily basis. And one of the principles is called ahimsa, and it means non-harm. It's the idea of causing no harm to any living being. And so that's why it's not uncommon for yogis or yoga instructors to become vegetarian or vegan, because they're investing more in the lifestyle of yoga and not just the practice on the mat. And so once my health issues were healed, I could have added meat back in, but by then I'd become a yoga instructor and had been applying ahimsa in so many other ways that I thought, well, I've come this far, like, why not stick to it? And so now I can't foresee a future version of myself where I would start eating meat, and I'm very happy without it.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I applaud you for that. It's not
Thank
easy,
you.
especially when you've had it, you know.
Don't get me wrong, it's delicious.
Right. Okay. So to kind of switch it up a little bit, for someone that wants to take a more holistic approach in their health starting today, what are their practical first steps? How do they do that?
So when it comes to holism, there are four main pillars. The idea with holistic medicine is that you are healing your body from all angles. And so the four main pillars are your physical health, which is what we focus on the most, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. There's other subcategories like financial wellness or social wellness, but the main four, you would start with that and you would really take a look at your life and say, and what parts of those four pillars are strong? And I can keep going. What parts need a little bit more TLC? And so it's not just about eating nourishing foods and sleeping well at night, which would be physical, working through emotional trauma, or taking time to stimulate yourself and challenge yourself on a mental aspect, maybe spirituality, meditating 5 minutes a day. So hitting your health from different angles is really what's going to create that long life, like vitality throughout your entire lifespan.
That's awesome. Yes. And very practical. And as you mentioned, the meditating, I just thought about on the Fabletics Fit app. That was
Yes.
something for me this year I really wanted to implement, was some type of meditation. But it's hard, especially if you're the type of person that you constantly have things to do and mind can be racing. But they do have a part on the app that you can do different meditations. This is not like sponsored or anything, but I randomly thought
But if
of
it's
that.
good, it's good.
Yeah. And I mean, they're working for me. I mean, they have some that are, I think, maybe less than 10 minutes, but I think I've been doing about 10 minutes, and they're guided meditations. So maybe focusing on gratitude or just quieting your mind and everything. It's really good. It's really good. So
Victoria, that's awesome that you're taking time to do that in your daily life. That's where it starts. It's just those little 2.5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you fall in love and you want to be doing it all the time. But it's just a matter of getting the ball rolling. And so
right.
I'm so proud of you. And I feel like by the end of the year, you could be exponentially grown in that holistic pillar.
Well, thank you. Yes. I mean, like you said, yeah, you just have to start. I mean, because people think that they have to do it all or they're not doing it at all. Like they
Yeah,
have to do a lot, or they're not. And that's just not practical. I mean, most people you can't do that. You can't just, you know, go from level 0 to 100. You have to start
absolutely.
and keep
And
building
it's
it.
meant to be challenging at the beginning. If it were really easy to meditate for an hour straight, then everybody would be doing it. But just like anything else that you've achieved in your life, it probably didn't happen in one day or in one really hard week. You worked at it over and over to earn your degree or to decorate your beautiful home or to have the body that you have. It takes small daily efforts. And so meditation is just like that. I think it scares a lot of us off at first because we have to really look inward, and that takes personal work. But the growth that can come from it is so rewarding that it's worth pushing through the challenging first few steps.
Yes, it is. Yes. Okay. So in that same vein, someone that wants to make some practical switches. So maybe they take Tylenol all the time or they take ibuprofen all the time. What do you suggest?
For making more holistic choices, I
Yes.
would say the best part is that we have the internet at our fingertips any time of day. And if, let's say I want to make a change in my life, that I know there's a natural alternative option out there and I'm not sure what it is, I would go to Google or even Pinterest and type in natural alternatives for Tylenol. And there's going to be a bunch of remedies that show up. Or I can think about the ailment that I'm trying to treat. So let's say I have frequent migraines and that's why I'm taking Tylenol all the time, that I would type in to Google alternative remedies for frequent migraines. And there's going to be so many blog articles, so many resources that show up. I would say open a few of them, see the ones that are referred on multiple options, not one time, because if it's only on one article, maybe it's not as concrete. If you're seeing it in multiple places, it's probably a little more sure-footed. And go ahead and give it a try, see how it feels for you. That's why I'm creating my social media content on Instagram, is to kind of create this wellness encyclopedia to give you a home base to go back to and find resources for treating your ailments with natural options. So definitely keep checking it out.
Yes. Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a mini series on IG, correct?
Yes, I'm multiple of them, and that's what I'm doing. I'm creating these 30 post mini series on different topics, and right now I am talking about Chinese medicine.
Awesome. Yes. So please, you all check that out. I know that we will get lots of replay viewers, so I will also link Shanell's information in this video and to my YouTube after this, so that you can, stay in touch with her. But yes, so tell me, why did you get into Chinese medicine? It's really, and I wanted to also say that it's cool that how you explain alternative medicine. I didn't know that all of that is all in one bucket.
A lot of people don't. You're not alone in that.
Yeah,
I
that's
created an IGTV video to help people understand that. And so it's called, I think it's called What's the Difference Between Alternative Medicine, Complementary Medicine, and Integrative Medicine. So feel free to check it out. It kind of
yes.
explains, you understand the concept of like the Russian nesting dolls where there's a doll inside of a doll. It's the same concept. So there's alternative medicine, which is anything that's not Western. And then you have complementary medicine, and inside that integrative medicine, and that's like the cream of the crop of natural medicine, the kind of stuff that Western medicine is using in their facilities today, like acupuncture to treat chemotherapy patients. And so
Yes, yes.
that video really kind of goes through the nitty gritty of what the difference is. But Chinese medicine falls under that category of alternative medicine, and it's in complementary and it's in integrative, hence the
Mhm.
acupuncture treating
Yes.
chemotherapy. That's a form of Chinese medicine. So my mini series is all about educating people on what treatment options Chinese medicine can offer you, like acupuncture, moxibustion, cupping, ear seeds. So the list goes on. And so each post is giving you a different option. So if someone can read them and they have ailments that fall under those treatments, then they can go see an acupuncturist and ask for those things and see if
Yeah,
they're right for them.
that's awesome. So what made you get into Chinese medicine? What
Oh,
sparked?
right. I personally fell in love with Chinese medicine because when I was dealing with my own hypothyroidism, that was the style of natural medicine that made the most impact on my symptoms. So I started seeing an acupuncturist once a week, and then over time I was healing. So I went to every other week and then to once a month. And now I go once every 6 to 8 weeks to see my acupuncturist for a little checkup and to kind of maintain that health. But I really fell in love with the effect that acupuncture and the other treatment options had on my body and the impact that I saw. And on top of that, when I was doing my degree, I had different electives, and one of them
Okay.
was traditional Chinese medicine. And that
Mm,
was my absolute favorite modality to learn about. This form of medicine really looks at the body as a reflection of patterns that we see in nature. So they
mhm.
compare the body to the seasons, to the way that trees and mountains are formed, and how we are all the same, and how our health is no different than the way a plant would grow in the garden. So I thought that was very beautiful and
Wow.
almost a poetic form of medicine, but entirely accurate and effective.
That's awesome. Wow. So
I
then
think
what
so.
is the difference? What is the difference between alternative medicine and Chinese medicine?
So alternative medicine is that big umbrella
Yeah.
statement, the biggest doll and the nesting doll. And Chinese medicine is one of the medicines within it. So if you had an umbrella and it was alternative, underneath it, it would be yoga, Reiki healing, Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, homeopathy, naturopathy, herbology. The list would just keep going. And Chinese medicine is just one of those options within that realm of anything that is not Western.
Right. And so with Chinese medicine, do they have like a subset or certain practices that they always abide by or anything like that?
Yes, so they have two main theories. One of them is yin and yang, and we've all seen the kind of Tai
Yes.
Chi symbol of the black and white. So that's the idea of there's always a white and a black side of things. There's the yin and yang. It's light and dark. It's the sun and the moon. It's the night and day. It's these two alternating forces of the universe that ebb and flow. Just as night starts, day is going to come back, and then it's going to be night again. And so we look at the human body saying that we're trying to find balance between the two, and we go into an unhealthy state, and then we can work to come back into a healthy state. But the work's never done. You're never like, check, did it, I'm healthy now.
Right.
Eventually the body may do this again due to the changing of the seasons or health issue develop, and then we work to bring you back to balance. And so the yin and yang theory is constantly applied to how we treat the human body.
Awesome. Okay, so then can you kind of explain a little bit of the differences between Chinese medicine and Western medicine? And if there's
Absolutely.
maybe any overlap? Do you see any
Absolutely.
overlap?
Yeah, so overlap would be the way that Western medicine is starting to use acupuncture and other Chinese medicine treatments in their facilities. So they're now seeing through science and modern research that acupuncture is highly effective in working in conjunction with their treatment options. So they'll use chemotherapy on a patient, and then right afterwards, they'll have the acupuncturist treat the patient with needles so that they don't experience the nausea that may come from the chemotherapy treatment. So
Mhm.
they can work synergistically together. And so that's really the overlap, is how they work as a team. The way that they're separate is the way that an acupuncturist views the body in comparison to an MD. So an MD will look at the body in cells. They'll put everything into boxes. So there's the liver, and within it you have the liver cells, and within the liver cells you have the mitochondria, and it keeps getting smaller until we go down to the atom. Whereas Chinese medicine looks at the body as this kind of, there's no cells, it's more of this ebb and flow like nature, that you are kind of, you have heat in the body and then you're cool, and you have darkness and then you have light, and you have dampness and then you have dryness. And so there's this ebb and flow of yin and yang. You notice all of those were different pairs, and that we're always trying to find this balance between them, but it's never a hard and fast, you have hypothyroidism. It's your body is in this state and we're going to pull it to this state. And so that's the difference. It's the black and white versus these gray areas.
Yeah. So is it pretty common, I'm assuming, for people to see an alternative medicine practicing doctor and a traditional, I guess, a Western medicine doctor, MD or DO or something like that, right?
Absolutely. You could see both at the same time. It's always good to be very communicative with both of your healthcare providers and let them know that you're seeing someone else, in case your MD prescribes a medication that is counterproductive to the acupuncture or vice versa. So it's always good to let them know, but there's nothing wrong with seeing both at the same time. If anything, I think it would benefit.
Okay. So then one thing that I like to also ask are there any myths or anything that you hear all the time about alternative medicine, maybe you'd like to debunk? Any type of common questions or anything that you get a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the number one myth with alternative medicine is that it is unsafe. And in a way, there are parts of alternative medicine that are unsafe. So the concept of alternative medicine being this big umbrella statement means there is a lot of information under there. And there are some things that have been proven by modern research to be very safe, like acupuncture. And then there are some old world medicines that were used hundreds of years ago that would still fall under that, because it's a healing modality that is not Western, but that we haven't used in hundreds of years since and is unsafe. Let's say like bloodletting, right, is an unsafe practice that no one does anymore, but would be considered alternative. So you really have to do the research and see which ones have been validated by modern research to be safe and effective, and that would be integrative medicine. Which ones are being more popularly used, like essential oils and Reiki healing, but maybe there's not a ton of research. And then which ones are no longer used but fall under that alternative medicine category. And so it just takes a little bit of research, but Google is very savvy at filtering that out for you, and my page is meant to kind of do that for you. I'm only going to inform people on the ones that have been proven to be safe and effective. I would not suggest someone to do something that has not been validated by modern research.
Well, thank you for that, not adding to the confusion.
Of course. I think a lot of people want to practice natural medicine, but they don't know where to start, and they hear the myth, and so they stop. But there are so many options that are super safe to start running forward with. So I want to clarify that for them.
Yes, well, awesome. And I have definitely enjoyed chatting with you. But before we end, I just want to also ask you for your fun fact. I like to ask all of my co-hosts for a fun fact about themselves.
About me?
Yeah, if you have.
Oh, fun fact about me. Okay, let's hear. Fun fact about me, my first job ever was performing at Disneyland in California as a Disney princess. And I did that for a very long time. Yeah, it was really fun.
Which princess?
Huh?
Which princess were you?
I can't say, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But it was a really fun job and a beautiful experience. And fortunately, I was able to travel with the Disney company all around the world doing international tours of a show. And I worked at Tokyo Disneyland for a long time. So it was a wonderful opportunity. And it definitely sparked my interest in being on camera and presenting information to people in an artistic way. So it carries with me even now.
That's a very fun fact.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever been in the presence of a Disney princess before.
Here it is.
Well, thank you so much, Shanell. So how can our viewers, of course, like I said, I'm going to link everything, but how can they stay in touch with you and, stay in the know and follow along with everything you're doing?
Oh, perfect. I would love for them to check out my series on Fabletics. I'm very proud of it. It's my baby, and I created all 10 workouts, so I would love for people to benefit from that. And then outside of that, you can find me on YouTube. I have a mini series that I'm starting up about saving the bees. And then, of course, my pride and joy is working on my Instagram content. So I would invite people to come and follow me and stay tuned for all of the wealth of knowledge that I will be sharing with you about natural medicine in the future. And fitness. I have fitness workouts on there now. Just covering all the bases.
Yes, that's important. You're very talented. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria, for having me.
Yes, and we'll definitely stay in touch for sure.
Please, I would love that. Have a beautiful day. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We're both happy that you took the time to better yourself today.
Yes, we are. Thank you so much for joining us for your weekly wellness dose. We'll see you next week. All right.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Oh, well, thank you all so much for joining us. Shanell's awesome. Yes, definitely follow along with her on her Instagram or YouTube. As soon as I post this replay video, I will attach all of the links so that you can make sure you're following along. And this week, I just wanted to feature my favorite product, of course, our Fizz. It's plant-based energy. You won't get the crash, no sugar. You get coenzyme Q10. That's also an enzyme that's great for your brain function. So it's definitely amazing. It's awesome to help you switch over from coffee. I was a very, very avid coffee drinker. I was like addicted to coffee. I couldn't not have my cup of joe every single morning. But coffee is very acidic. It does have a few great benefits to it, but most people undo those benefits with all the cream and all the sugar. So let me know if you'd like to try some Fizz. I'd love to send you a sample free of charge to get your interest, to see what you think about it. But yes, hope you all have a great day. And again, next week we are going to be starting another series, and it's going to be amazing. So make sure you join us next week, next Monday at 3 p.m. for your weekly wellness news dose. I hope you all have a great week and a great rest of your Monday. Talk to you later. Bye.